How's it going, everybody? So we're just going to be wrapping up the picture we started yesterday. We're going to do some inks and see how it comes along. Alright, so the first thing we got to do is fix some of these line weights on things. This character too, there's a stream that I had yesterday talking about him, Power Pickle. Such a stupid name. We'll see more of him coming up. So let me just try something here. I'm trying to mess with something here. I think we should have probably a brick wall on the other side. And I'm looking at this, and it looks like I had forgotten it during the line art stage. But something like that's all right. Excuse me. So just save that up. Okay, so we're gonna have to work on our line weights here before we get into the inks. So the smoke, we're not doing anything there. What do we got here? The front brick wall. Maybe we'll make that a little thicker. Like a 5. Yeah, 5 should be good. Yeah, same with the main character here. We'll go 5. Maybe we'll make him stand out a bit. Let's see, like a 7. In between there. Okay, so I have that. We got the cops in the background. There, let's go like a 2. Yeah, okay. So we're going to select all this stuff. We're going to merge it. Now we just get this one layer here. I'm going to make it so that there's no white in there. Just gets rid of it all. Makes it just line art. So the reason for this is sometimes it's nice to change the color of like what you're working on, right? So we go like a blue with the line art, that kind of stuff. We're not gonna be doing anything fancy like that today. We're just working on as if this were for a published superhero comic company. Okay, so inks, make a new layer, save it up. Now I wanted to try one thing here before we started. This might get a little weird. Make a new layer. Let's try to call it eye flow. Let's get a big fat brush too. Let's see what we got here. Maybe something like this, that work? Yeah, there we go, okay. We'll just lower the opacity. So what I'm going to try to do here is sort of figure out where I want the eye to go and see if we can kind of ink in that direction, as opposed to just doing the line weights, just adding a little bit of shadow. So now we got a lot of direction coming here. This is sort of the focal point. So I know the cops, they're a little bit hard to see here, so maybe I should erase some of this stuff, but we'll see as we go. So if somebody looks at this image right away, they're going to be drawn to all the detail right there. So if we can kind of accentuate, like I feel the traditional inking, we would just do like a top light, right? Something like this. And if this helps draw the eye to the background, it might just work. Something like this maybe. Leaves the background open a little bit too, so I think that might work. Alright, well, what I'll do is I don't like drawing over this stuff, so what I've been doing lately is I will merge the entire layer. Actually here, let's bring it up a little bit. Layer, merge layers, and I'll just copy it. Make a new folder, or a new file. There we go. Make that all one thing. Then we can go edit, where is it, canvas size. Where are you? There you are. Yeah, we can just shrink that down to like, I don't know, let's go to pixels. Let's bring this down to like 800. I hit the wrong thing. Edit image resolution. Yeah, okay. I'm used to Photoshop. In this one, they always do it a little different. All right, so if we go to 800 here, it's just the whole point of it here is just to make like a super small version that we could always have as a reference, you know. And we can drag that off, put it over here, and it's nice to have the little guide. Sometimes what I used to do with like working with pen and paper is I would make a copy on like a printer, like just a normal regular printer copy, and just grab a Sharpie and just throw it everywhere, just so that I could have it as a reference beside it. That way you can always refer back to it, because you're not going to follow it to a T usually. Sometimes you're going to mess around a little bit more. All right, I think I might just try the large. No, let's go with the inking here. Okay, so we're gonna have to give him some eyes and stuff. Like right now, he looks really really odd. So with little bumps on him here. This stage usually goes pretty quick. Hey, Peachy, how's it going? Bitey, hello, hello, hello. Yeah, man, welcome back. We got work to do today. We gotta finish this. And this image here is gonna be a little bit of a test as well. We talked about it yesterday. I would like to have a little bit more, or at least trying anyway, a little bit more rendering, kind of. Maybe not rendering is the right way of saying it, but some more shadows in my work. So, just for context, for those that have been following me for a bit, if you look at JESOP King, there's no real shadow work in there because I color it myself. And for that project in particular, I like the idea of using the color for shadow. I like it in general. Like I think it looks really cool. But this project here, and a few of these kind of going forward, I'm sort of using as like portfolio pieces in a way to hopefully get some positive attention from the big wigs at the comic publishers. And in that case, I'm kind of trying to get a job as an inker slash like an artist, right? So the pencils, inks, whatever you want to call them. So I want to kind of highlight that feature on these things here. And sometimes I think, like, I don't want to go overboard. Like, you see there's all this, like, heavy black area. I don't want to go, like, that crazy. But definitely incorporate more of it. So, we'll see how it comes out. Like I say, this is a little bit of a test to see how it comes out. Alright, so we gotta give him some eyeballs. Give him some more pickle texture. We'll probably be going all over and putting this all over there. Okay, we'll come back to that. Hey, thanks, Chris. Yeah, it's coming along. I actually had a lot of fun. It's funny. I know some of you guys were in the stream last night, and like, there wasn't intention wasn't there to go like this far with it. If you guys remember, I was trying to find a background that we could use that I've already done in like another project, instead of having to redo one. Couldn't find anything, so ended up having to make my own. It's super simple. I just found some models of some cars. We'll dress them up. There was a SWAT car back here, but it got covered up by bricks. And then this background here, I was trying to a couple different things. One of them was just trying to do a much simpler building style, especially with things in the background like this, as opposed to putting in those building faces all the time. You know, and I dig it. I think it came out pretty good. Once we get in some line weights and stuff in there, hopefully it'll come together a little bit more. But yeah, we got like a finished piece kind of coming together here, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna use this as like page 1 of the comic. All right, so what I might do here is, fuck it, let's grab our large inking so I can see that my intent was to have a little bit more shadow here. Probably gonna need a bigger brush. Let me just see here. I'm gonna just screw around here for a little bit here. Hmm. So one of the fears I have of going this way is like once you start shading like this, not that I don't enjoy the way it looks. It looks very organic, like a real brush was used with this, in my opinion. Is that like you always have to do this with your shading, right? Like for consistency, and it's different when it's just big muscle guys like this, right? But when we're inking women and all that, this might not look that good. It shows how strong he is and how much he likes robbing banks. Buddy, maybe I'm missing something, but I can't understand why you haven't broken in just with what you've already done. Thanks, man. I would. There's a few things. One, the people that have seen my stuff, maybe don't like what they see, right? Or there's no work, or the fact that I haven't truly really tried to impress or push the the need that I want to try this with editors, right? Um, there's so many factors. You never know. The one constant you can have though is just keep trying or try harder. Ask better questions, ask more questions. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Um, Ben, have you talked about the context of this guy much? I wasn't here to hear about it. We were kind of spitballing it yesterday. Yeah, he's not a real pickle. He just looks like a pickle. He's an alien. And I'm trying to go super simple with the story here because it's the story is not the point. The point is just to be drawing kind of superhero kind of stuff. Um, and all he's trying to do is he's crash landed and he's trying to get enough money so he can repair his broken ship so he can go back home. But he's mistaken as a bad guy. So the look on his face is he's very childlike and very innocent. I think we ended up comparing him to, like, if you ever watched Dragon Ball Z, there's what was his name? Was it Good Boo or something like that, or Majin Buu? I think he's the big fat pink guy, and he's very innocent. Like cookies and candies and stuff like that. But the things he's doing is bad, right? Like it's almost like there's no conscience. Like you don't just walk into a bank, take all that money because you need it, so you can build your ship and go, right? So there's a disconnect. So the story focuses around him. He's essentially like one of the bad guys, but he's really bad at it because he's not trying to do that. But he can't communicate with people that well, so it's not. There's a continual conflict of like he just can't relate what the hell he's actually trying to do. And then the heroes in the story that will eventually show up that beat him all the time. Like they don't ask questions. They're just the typical superhero could show up, beat the bad guy, maybe get some pictures taken, and walk away. That kind of thing. So. Let's see here. Scroll up. I appreciate all the questions too, guys. Chris is summing it up. Yeah, it's true. John's only ever half wanted to break in. I agree. Hey, Dennis, welcome back, man. Hey, no problem, Peachy. Thanks for everybody getting everybody up to speed. He's in a pickle. He's going to use that money to buy parts that don't exist yet. Oh, like the full spoiler. Like this first issue is going to be like 8 pages, right? And if you guys remember, we spitballed it yesterday too. If you guys remember when I suggest you guys do mini comics and stuff, keep the story super simple. And I'm doing the exact example that I give, where like it starts with the bad guy robbing a bank, and then the middle of the story is a hero arrives to stop him from robbing the bank, and at the end, the hero saves the day. So that's what's gonna happen. Like he'll never actually be able to walk away with the money in any in any story. Hey Eric, how's it going? So question for you guys: how do you guys like this inking so far? What's the gut reaction to this? I know it's super simple. Um, Normally this would be kind of, I don't say as far, but as far as I guess I would kind of take it and let the colors do all the heavy lifting. This here I feel I still have some concerns. I think it does feel more, I don't know, maybe mainstreams might be the right word. I don't know. I think more generally more people I think enjoy looking at like this kind of art where you get the heavy blacks, that kind of stuff. Maybe this might be a little too sloppy for some of you guys. I guess my reservations on it are like once I start using this kind of thing, everything's got to look that way, and maybe I'm just overlooking it or overthinking it. Probably just overthinking it. Eric saying nice and chunky. I dig it. I like it. I like it. Jose, how's it going, buddy? Looking good. I like the simple spotting of blacks. Give it more volume. There's screen tones. So sorry, Jose. So what you're looking at right now? Here, let's do this. So what we're looking at right now, this big, thick, black, chunky stuff, is option A, and this is option B. For context here, for option B, I'll show you guys. I showed you guys this yesterday as well. It's issue 2, Jessup King, but this would be like what the drawing we were looking at right now. So this is option B, this one here, or do you prefer option A? B, A, B, A. Would you ever consider screen tones for this at all? Possibly. What I want to do with this one too is I don't want to color this, to be honest with you. Um, I'll be sending this to editors and things, as well as everybody online. You guys can all check it out. So you guys will be seeing it, but I don't want to color it because it just adds time. So I've been trying to think in my head like, what the hell am I gonna do? I could just leave it like this, but I feel like that's not enough. We need some sort of gray in there. But whatever I end up picking, I don't want it to take a lot of time. So I was thinking of maybe messing around with some pencil shading for grays, but screen tones might actually work too. One of the reservations I have about screen tones though is like I don't know how to use them very well, so it would probably be just like how I'd what's it called? Cell shade, except instead of it being a color, it would just be screen tone. Might look alright. I don't like this at all. Bitey, not sure which. You like both. Really, have no help. That's yeah. I'm trying to push the pressure onto you guys to figure my problem out for me. Actually, here let's just bring this down to 80%. Let's go a little higher. I just want to be able to see through what I'm inking here. I think one thing that's throwing this off. You know what? I'm gonna just stop this for now. I'm gonna go back to this. Because the one thing that I just noticed is like I'm throwing down black areas, which is great, but the line weights, it's like you need the line weights too, or else a lot of this can get get lost. So we'll finish doing what we were normally doing, and then we'll maybe that's the trick is just keep doing this, and then go back over and just add big blobs of black in areas that it might look appropriate. John, you follow Richard Fiend, our friend? I always call him Fiend. I don't know why. I do. I don't really watch too much of his content, sadly, though. I don't think, not that there's nothing good there. Um, but there's a lot of YouTube channels that I'm not even, I'm maybe not aware of, but I haven't checked out. You guys just hooked me up with that, I forget the name of it, something, a naked panel? Naked panel something, or is it naked comic panel? Something like that here on YouTube. That, frig, that's a friggin' awesome channel. Actually, here, let me make a. This is something I've been getting in the habit of doing. Is just making a layer for notes. So instead of looking for a piece of paper to write this stuff down, you just toss it in there, right? Did I forget what the note? Oh yeah, add pickle texture. Eric, I'm that weird artist who doesn't do a lot of line weight except a general run around the outside of the character to make them pop off the page. No, that's everybody's got their thing. I'm still in the boat of if you guys do anything, is add line weight to your characters. You don't got to do shading, but for me, I think like this right here, line weights, they're um, pretty critical to your art, especially in comics because you can have a lot of layering. But if you're just doing like a pinup or something, it might be fine. I would still suggest going the extra mile to add a little bit of line weights. It'll help you learn shading and stuff as well. Plus, it's easier on your viewers when they look at your art. You know, sometimes I don't know if you guys have ever had this problem. I've had it a few times where you look at certain people's art that don't do line weight, and like Eric saying, you see the entire shape around them because when you draw that thick line around them, it's commanding attention on your image. So when you see it, you can't not see it. But then you got to look inside of that shape to see the character and all the little. It's not that you're adding a lot of details like what I'm doing here on the corners and stuff. You don't got to do any of that. But the line weight's super important because like if I didn't have line weight, you see his arm or his hand right here. All of these details they disappear. There's no connection. And I mean, I did something wrong here. I'll fix. But uh, without having line weights here, there's no way to tell what's in front of something. So if you have a character standing there and they have like a 3/4 shot, we'll say, and that character's arm is in front of their chest, if you don't add line weights, it makes your art look weaker. Because like I believe anyway, one of the and I say it all the time is as artists, I think we're kind of like magicians at the same time. It's our job to convince whoever looks at our art that what they're looking at is not a flat surface, right? So if you see, like I know the way I'm doing line weights too is stylistic as well. But do you see right away? That's just basic line weights that I added there that just make it feel like there's like this is going in under the hand. This is going under the hand. The next step you could do if you wanted to do like shadows, right, is you kind of you don't got to do a lot of shadows, but you can just do wherever those line weights were, something like that. It just gives it the feeling that they're going under the form, right? But you don't have to do any of that stuff. Let's switch this back out of it. Um, Thank you, Jose. Glad you saw it too, buddy. Buddy, that clean look shows so much precision, can't hide mistakes all that way, but the chunky, heavy look has more energy, baby. Yeah, it could. Yeah, I think you're onto something too. Strip panel naked. That's the name of it. Thank you, Jose. I think having no line weight lets colors be more dominant part of the drawing and vice versa. So perhaps ultimately rely on your goal for the final rendering. Um, Yeah, I see what you guys are saying too. Eric's just adding, he kind of makes up by using the thicker line work in general, so I think there's a difference. When you use thinner lines, you kind of need those line weights a lot more. Let me just check something here. Yeah, I can't really find an example here. Hey Devin, how's it going? Do you have a video on inking? I saw the Photoshop one, but I didn't see one for Clip Studio. Is there something specific about inking you're talking about? I might be able to help you there. I don't think I have like a video on like how to ink. You know, I don't really do videos like that anymore, like the tutorial stuff. Like I can explain what I'm doing, I suppose, but I don't know if that'll help. But I get what you saying. It's definitely good to at least add some thickness, separate things from front, things from the back. Oh yeah, yeah. Cause even I do that with how some of my stylists fully agree there. Right on. I try to learn inking style coming from full render stuff. Do you use stability? No, I don't use stability, but that means my lines get like, see how wobbly they are. But I like the uncontrollability of it because I can get some interesting kind of shape with it. Um, you're trying to learn inking coming from full render stuff. Coming from full render stuff. Can you describe a little bit more? It's early over here, so I'm going full stupid on you. Sorry, sorry. Like what I'm trying to do here, if this helps you. So, in a lot of ways, what I'm doing here is called line weights, and I'm definitely putting some style in there. So with line weights, the main thing you're worried about is just making forms pop over the other. But an easy way to look at it is like, let's look at the abs here for a second, okay? So I'll show you how I'm gonna do the line weights there. So you always have to know where your light source is. So the light source is coming from the top. I'm just going super simple, right? But the thing is that this is all concave, right? Like these abs are going in, you know, like here's this chest, and then they're going in, and then the abs are coming back out. Um, so a lot of these are actually going to be in like heavy line weight because it's so pushed back that the lines. There's a thing you can do with lines or with line weights. One is to show overlapping form, and the other is to insinuate where your light is, where light is hitting form, right? So right there, what I just did right there, that's fine. But by putting a little extra shadow in like that, this form is now behind this strip going down on the costume, right? So if you see all these rib lines here, I'm going to show you. I'll go in there, and what I'm doing is I'm pressing on the Cintiq heavily, and then lighting it up, and then like going light and then heavy. So I get like heavy, light, heavy, like this, right? And I kind of stagger that around. I don't like, for my personal taste, I don't like doing like a long stroke like that. I'd rather break it up like that, if that makes sense. So that's more of a style thing. So knowing that, what I do is I'll go in here and I'll sort of like get some chunky shapes. See, like all in that, I was just pressing and pulling really simply. But even though this is getting further into shadow, this is where, like, if you work with solid black in your artwork, you know, like I would fill this in with black. Like eventually it's got to get to darkness. Um, and it's great because it gives you that form that goes down. So we'll see if we're going to keep that. I'll keep it in for now just so you can see it, but because on this side we'll have to do something similar. All right, let me zoom out a bit here so you guys can see what the hell's going on. So I'm just trying to find the rib cage here. I don't like the tangent there, so we'll just move that over. Just erase all this stuff here. Now I'm just going to get a little bit of a bigger brush because I know we're going to need some heavy lifting here. I'm just going to ink over top of stuff. Now I'm alright with putting all the black area back here because there's like, he's coming from an area that has shadow in it. I'm just going to go back and just erase the art that I just drew over so we can see it a little easier. I'm just going to compare it with this side here, right? Like I don't want the planes to go way out of whack here. So something like that. Devin, I like your style. I have to study it. Yeah, I do illustrations like Darken and Carla Ortiz. I don't use line, just values and color. Oh, okay. I think I understand what you're saying. So, like, okay. So if you notice, there's no shadow on this cover, but when I color it, that's where I use the shadow, right? So, in a way to think about it, is like all these areas in shadow with just black and white would be solid black. Um, I just don't like that much black in my art. I used to do it all the time, but now I'd rather have it like for this kind of stuff. All these mouths, let's have the darkness there. Or a good way that I heard somebody talk about this, and this is something I've been trying too, is only add black shadows with things that cause cast shadows. So an example, right, is his belt. You see how there's a black shadow right across it because it's casting a shadow onto something. All of his like core shadows and stuff, like his line weight's all in his neck. There's nothing. Right here, this like puck thing is casting a shadow. So just trying to do that, and it's kind of fun if you think about just using what's it called, like a simple like checklist, like line weights. Awesome. Okay, those are done. Now, is anything overlapping something? Okay, look into adding shadows under that. To be honest, how I ink is that I outline the outer contour of a character, then add the inner contours. Of course, the inner outline has. I used to do that too, and I know a lot of people that do that, and you get a really good result. I'm just used to the Freddie Williams method of drawing, so it's similar, but it's not like. Here, let me just open up the line art for this guy. Character design, just so I can show you guys. Okay, so if you notice, if we go to the pickle guy here, we turn the KO layer off. So we turn everything else off. Okay, so I draw with like, this would look like a micron, if that's the feeling you would get. And the next thing I do is, all the lines, they're kind of, like there's no holes in the lines, so I can make a selection, and then this is where I would grab, like, here, let me just so you guys can see it, let's like really bulk it up. This would be where you grab the thicker outline, right, and you just do this. The difference here is that micron line inside. I don't think a lot of people do that. They usually like have they pencil first and then do this outline, and then you'd come back in, right, and then you would just do what I'm kind of doing now with you know, you'd start inking in where all these lines are connecting from that silhouette that you just drew, right? And this is a very easy way to actually get a lot of range out of what you're doing, and you know, it's essentially what I'm doing too. I guess I need to work on line weight. I just got a Cintiq. Awesome, man. Need to, yeah. Feels a little different, when you're drawing on a screen. Oops. what the hell all of this is. Hey, thanks, Dennis. I'm leaning more towards that. I feel comfortable doing that too. I guess it's again getting in my own head of, well, the other books look like this or that, you know, or at least I assume they look like that, but even that's not really that true. All right, so let's turn this on and off here just so we can see. You know what I noticed that we gave him like gloves. Wondering, so I like the pickle texture. Maybe we can just make it like it cuts off there. Like little pimples everywhere. All right, let's take a look what's going on here. Okay, I'll be right back. we're back. See if we can finish this inking. We got about a half hour. And then we'll kill the stream. Kill it with love. Alright. So I want to get this big thing behind him done. Let's get rid of those dots. It's starting to look like it's the same as his pickle skin. We don't want that. Or maybe we do. See you, Eric. Have fun, man. Okay. I think maybe we should just put this whole leg in black. Here, let's so the problem I'm running in with here is this side is all black right now because it's fading behind him. But the problem that's causing is it's flattening out his other leg because I have to put that in black. So to figure out something we can do here. Maybe we can do something like that. No. Hey Matador, welcome back, dude. Alright, let's ink this stuff here. Yeah, it's nice done. It's cool, dude. We're gonna do something down here when we get to the smoke. Right now it's just cutting off areas, but it might be something along the lines of like, you know, this kind of thing when you're kind of breaking up shape. So soon we get there, soon we kind of get these going, these big chunky pieces. Yeah, we'll see about adding all that. Okay, I'm gonna get going, you guys. I'll be posting about this stuff soon. If you're on Patreon too, you guys will be able to see it sooner. Have a little blurb to put up with it too, and some of the concept art we did yesterday. I'm not sure when you guys will see it elsewhere. I'll probably post it soon. And we'll fart around with screen tones or something for the grayscale. But cool. Okay guys, I'll talk to you later.